Yo, what's going on? I'm Rosville, and this is Alliance Late Night. I'm back after quite some time away from this microphone and this webcam and anything to do with professional wrestling in general. Um, that's what this episode is going to be about. Giving you an update as to what's been going on. There's a handful of you out there who actually were a little concerned because you hadn't heard from me. And I want to tell you sincerely, when I posted that I was going to be making a return and I got the responses that I just recently got on X, Twitter, or whatever, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect for anybody to really be looking for me or, wondering what was going on with me or whatever. So, I don't know how to word it, but I appreciate it. That was cool to know that people were out there thinking about me, concerned or whatever. So thank you. I appreciate it. I'm okay. Everything's all right. Everything's better than all right, I don't have a really long, sad story of why I've been away. The dog didn't die or any of that kind of stuff because I don't have any pets. I have some plants and they're still alive. But what's really been going on is that I had to figure out what I wanted to do with Alliance Late Night. I had to figure out which direction I was going. I had to figure out if I really truly have a passion for professional wrestling in the magnitude and in the parameter and the realm of consistently producing a weekly podcast talking about professional wrestling, promotions of my choosing, whether they are good that week or horrible that week. I was running into this situation where I didn't want to be on the microphone and continuously, week after week, tearing down the product that I'm looking for to have this breakthrough, this moment where there's this clarity going on. I get it. This is how I'm supposed to book. And when week after week, you see the talent going out there and giving it their go and doing the best that they can with the job assignment that they're given, and it not making any sense, it is not progressing some particular wrestling promotions that are out there, it takes away from what you're doing. I don't want to come on here and constantly tear down the promotions that I'm choosing to review. I don't live in the past, I live in the current. However, if you are a wrestling promotion with a history that is beyond rich, it's wrestling, professional wrestling wealth. It is the foundation of the industry that we all love, right? You're viewing me because you like professional wrestling, right? We love professional wrestling, and there's some promotions with a backstory and roots that go all the way back to the beginning of this. And you're wondering week after week when things don't make sense, do they not get it? Are they not capable of looking at the archives and the blueprint of what worked and didn't work? I, like many of fans of particular promotions, we're not looking for you to relive. We're not looking for you to create a carbon copy of what has been done before. But we're all thinking and we're all saying in all these different platforms, Discords and X's and Facebook and Instagrams and Threads and whatever else is out there, we're all saying, how can you not get it right when the example of how to do it right is there? Your brand's history is the example that all other wrestling promotions have followed. Everybody else has arrived where they're at. ECW, WWE Attitude Era, even its present day presentation, TNA, MLP, Uh, uh, um, yeah, I mean, so forth and so on, right? The major leagues of professional wrestling, MLW, that's a nod to the granddaddy of them all, right? So it's been frustrating in that capacity. And again, I don't want to leave an episode or weekly episodes that I record feeling like, why am I doing this? Why don't I just talk about the WWE and AEW like all the rest of the podcasts? Maybe I'll get some more hits. Maybe if I talk about all the backstage drama that has nothing to do with what's going on in the ring about those two bigger promotions, maybe I'll get some traction. But that's not where my heart is, I guess. That's not what brought me into professional wrestling. So I choose to follow some of the smaller promotions. We'll just say that, right? Trying to be respectful here. I prefer to watch them. I prefer to watch the underdog. I prefer to follow something as it develops and watch it blossom into something. AEW has all the money to do whatever they want to do, right or wrong, intelligent or stupid. That's what we've all come to understand about AEW. WWE is the conglomerate, the monster, the behemoth, and nothing can stop the machine right now except for itself. I'm not really that involved in it. I'm not really that vested in what's going on there. Matter of fact, a little bit of my hiatus from doing the podcast started with WWE and another promotion. We'll just say it, the NWA. But when Raw came around on Netflix, I started to see something. And then with the John Cena bad guy turn, I just completely lost the steam for wanting to watch and wanting to see all the developing stories, because it seemed like at that point, we're at a convergence zone. There's a squall going on in the wrestling world, so to speak. And at that point, I just started to lose interest. Also at this time, and during that time, some of you know, some of you don't know, that I actually went and began to pursue becoming a professional wrestler. I went and began training to become a professional wrestler. One of my local promotions, one that I get behind and I go to their shows quite a bit, Peak Sports Entertainment, which is in association with Dragonplex Dojo. I was in training for a month, maybe about 5 weeks. I think it was about 5 weeks. And let's just say I wasn't terrible. My mindset was to go in there and be a savant. Just simply brilliant in the ring. I would have it together and things would be second nature. But no, the reality is that I'm 46 years old. I went in there partially conditioned. I mean, I did put some effort to put some work in before I got there as far as cardio. But at this point and at this time, I decided to take a break from training. And when I decided to take the break from training, it was kind of a downer. I wouldn't say that I'm completely done. I can't say that I won't go back and complete it and try to have a match. I can't say that I'm not done for good. But I had to take the positives out of this. So, a couple of positives, few positives. One, I share this sometimes in public, and for other times you have to really be in my inner circle. But this is part of my story, my life story, my testimony. So I share it. 2018, I had a fall at a campground, and that fall resulted in central cord syndrome, which essentially gave me nerve damage. For about 24 hours or so, I was paralyzed completely on the right side. And following that, I was in the hospital for, I think, 1 week at the hospital, 2 weeks inpatient physical therapy, followed by outpatient therapy. Had me on meds. I didn't want to use the pain meds, so that was cut out early. It gave me gabapentin, which didn't do or help anything. It was making things worse, so I stopped taking that early on, and I just toughed it through. And if you saw me then and you see me now, you wouldn't be able to recognize that I was ever in an accident that resulted in nerve issues. You wouldn't see it. So, although I've taken a break or possibly will never appear again at Dragonplex Dojo, the victory for me is that I was actually there. I rolled, I tumbled, I dropped, reverse toho, pins, run-ins, jump backs from the turnbuckle. I know how to run the ropes. I know how to lock up. I know how to do a lot of the basics. There were still some things I need to cover, and I was out before we got to some of those things. But nonetheless, there's a victory in it for me because in 2018 to around probably the early part of 2023, I couldn't run. I couldn't jump. My right leg would sometimes still drag. My foot would drag. Kind of a swinging motion when I walked. So for me, the victory is in the fact that I actually got in the ring and I did what I did when the doctor told me that I could never do that, that I shouldn't consider doing that unless I had surgery. I never had surgery. The things that were being considered as fixable for the surgery healed themselves. I don't have any spine pains. I don't have any nerve pains. Again, if you saw me when the accident happened and you see me now, you wouldn't know it even ever happened. So that's a victory for me. The other victory for me is, although I'm on this hiatus and when I began this, it kind of was a downer, but I had to check myself, is that my son got to see that I gave it a shot. My son didn't actually see me in person during the training sessions, but he saw pictures. He saw video clips. I took him to an event for Peak Sports Entertainment, and I was explaining to him, yeah, I'm in training. He didn't know until this event. And maybe he thought I was playing, but as the guys are coming up before the show, they're all saying, hello, how you doing? Hope we see you again in training. So it clicked in my son's mind. My dad did what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to try to be a wrestler. So that's a victory for me. If I never ever complete training or go back into it or whatever, that's a victory for me, because ultimately what I was trying to do was more than be in a glamorous position for myself. Look at me, I'm a wrestler and I'm the best of all times and all that promo talk, right? We're talking reality. The best possible outcome for me, and I knew this going into it, was one, I complete training. I get to have a few matches, maybe one victory, and I'm done. Best outcome is that I got a championship opportunity or championship belt. That was the best outcome in the ring. The other best possible outcome was that I was going to ignite thought and possibility into my son, and for him to see me go out there and give it a shot at my age and knowing what he knows about my injury, that hopefully he can use that as he grows up to go, well, if my dad tried it, if he gave it his shot in his condition and what he's been through, then I got it sewn up. So those are the positives that I take from that. But again, it was kind of a downer. You know, you have this picture in your head and, you know, everything was changing. I, you know, picked out entry music and started to figure out a look and all that kind of stuff. And a couple of sessions, I just some spots, some falls, some drops that I did. My hip didn't like it, and I had to make a decision, you know. Do you press on and press through it, or let your body heal? Because when it's all said and done, I have a day job. And this is something I had to keep in mind too. My pursuit is different than the other ladies and gentlemen that are there at the Dragonplex Dojo. A lot of them, if not all of them, would love to be signed by a major wrestling promotion and have a you know, long, lengthy professional wrestling career. For me, again, my age, 46, best possible outcome for me. I complete training. I have some matches with Peak Sports, maybe a couple other local promotions or regional promotions. Possibly get a shot at a title, win the belt, drop the belt, leave my boots in the ring. I have my hurrah. That's what I came here for. Fall back, maybe work in the inside with Peak Sports or something along those lines, right? I had to keep it in perspective, in reality. And where I'm at right now, reintroducing myself back to the podcast, getting back in the flow of things with following professional wrestling outside of the WWE, because I'm kind of tired of all the backstage stuff. You know, let's get to the ring. I haven't followed the NWA as much, probably over the last 3 months, 2.5 to 3 months. I'm just starting to get caught up, and it seems like there's a little bit of change happening with 77, NWA 77 just happening this past Saturday. So I'm getting up to speed with that. Still working out, still trying to keep up with a regiment. I slacked off a little bit after I stepped away from training, but self-check, getting back in the swing of that as well. I want it to be a lifestyle, not just for the fact that I was trying to be a wrestler. How I feel about professional wrestling right now, again, like I was just saying, I don't like all the dirt sheet, this is what's going on, and this is why this went on, and none of it has anything to do with what's happening in the ring. The best professional wrestling that I ever watched, when I was watching it, I had no idea what was happening behind the curtain. I had no idea that such and such was sleeping with such and such. I didn't know where they took a vacation to. I didn't know what their payouts were. I didn't know that there was a beef between the announcer and Road Warrior Hawk or Animal or whatever, right? This giving you an example. The best wrestling that I ever watched was when I didn't know any of that. The best professional wrestling that I've watched is when there were no podcasters spilling the beans about everything. I don't want to know when people are going to show up in a promotion after they left somewhere else. I just want to turn it on and I just want to watch it happen. And I feel like a lot of the podcasters, I wouldn't just say podcasters, I say a lot of the ghost accounts that claim to be pro wrestling blogs, they can eat one. They're ruining the experience. They're spreading lies for clicks, and it's just, it's old. And right now, professional wrestling is in an interesting state because is the bubble about to burst? I mean, I mentioned this on previous episodes of my podcast. There's this boom, and it's just up and up and up and up and up. And all these promotions are coming out of the woodworks. You have people starting their territory systems, bigger contracts. People are going back and forth between the two big players in the business. Now we're talking about people being stomped out. What we called date stomping in the DJ scene or the electronic dance music promotion scene. We call it date stomping. In the WWE or in professional wrestling, they call it counter programming. It's called date stomping. We're going to put events on the same days as yours. We're going to be one town over. We're going to be in the next state on the same days. These dirty tactics are not a, major turn on for me. If your product is great, you don't have to do that. And you guys know, like I know, didn't the WWE say, oh, AEW is not a threat? Now they're trying to see to it that they don't get another TV deal. Whatever, right? All that behind the scenes stuff, right? Am I still a fan? Yes, 100%. Am I still passionate about professional wrestling? 100%. I just feel like I said earlier, we're in a convergence zone right now, and there's a squall happening in professional wrestling, and we're going to see some people. Somebody has to take the L. Somebody's not going to survive. And all these small independents across the country, I think they should start looking at joining forces or joining bigger, more well-known, established promotions for longevity of the business. That's just, my own observation. I could be way off, but I don't think that I am. I've seen the waves since 1984. I've been watching. And I feel like we are at a point right now where we might see a bubble. You see a lot of expansion in these shows, and these shows are selling out. Now people are upset that the WWE is pricing the average, blue collar worker out of being able to take their kids to an event. Which, by the way, let me say, if that is you, and you can no longer afford to take your kids to a WWE event, go to AEW. Go to your local regional promotions and support their shows. Even the ones I don't like. Do that. You will be satisfied with the quality of in-ring action. We're all critiquers of what's happening in the ring, right? But overall, generally speaking, with that affordability and that feeling that you get as a father or as a mother or as a couple, married couple, taking your children to an event is priceless. It's priceless. So by any means, whatever promotion is providing that quality entertainment factor and it's affordable, go support it. From here on, what am I going to do? What's the plan for Alliance Late Night? Well, first and foremost, I think at this point, going back to weekly is going to be the deal. I'm not going to try to play keep up. I found myself trying to keep up with the rapid fire of other podcasts, and I just can't do it. Like I said, I have a job in a job transition right now, and I'm also a DJ, semi-promoter right now. I help promote the gigs that I am part of. I'm a resident DJ here locally, and I have a life. So Weekly for me is going to do it. I'm going to cut down on how many promotions I'm actually going to be reviewing, because the reality is some of the stuff I was trying to cover for the sake of saying that I cover all these things is not worth my time. And I can say that because some of the promotions that I was covering, I haven't watched in 4 or 5 months. Not one single episode. So just refining myself, refining the direction, refining what I want to focus on. And I want to be able to speak positive, more positive about what I'm reviewing. I can't sit here and lie to the listener. Right? I can't do that. You are going to go watch the product if you're not already. So you're going to be able to form your own opinion about what it is I'm talking about, which brand I'm talking about. So I can't lie to you for reasons of I like this promotion, or I like these letters. I like this acronym of this pro wrestling brand. If it's not good, I have to tell you it's not good. And I have to explain to you why. And then I have to explain to you why it's not the talent's fault. And then you have to make a decision whether or not you care about what I'm saying or not. I mean, I have a handful of listeners. That's cool. Form your own opinions. But for my own peace of mind, I have more a refined list of promotions that I'm going to be reviewing. 2 of those are going to be, or 3 of those are going to be here regional. Just kind of cut out the other stuff, and I'll sprinkle some little stuff in there with AEW or with TNA or with Maple Leaf Pro or whatever. But I'm not going to spread myself thin trying to be a one-man pro wrestling ESPN. That started to wear on me. So that's out. Other than that, I really can just say that I'm getting back in the flow of things, and I hope to see some changes in professional wrestling, in all the wrestling that I watch. Shout out to UWN and Dave and the crew over there. For those of you who are watching who have no idea what the United Wrestling Network is, go look it up. You'll come across Memphis Wrestling as well. Do yourself a favor and watch this promotion. Week in and week out. Even when I don't watch for 2 weeks and go back and watch the episodes and come up to speed. Continuously a solid product that I think does not get the props that it deserves. I remember once upon a time, somebody said that it was too jokey. It was too not serious. I wonder if they have that same opinion now. I highly doubt it. Not with all this talent going through there. Check them out. If you're here in Washington State, check out Peak Sports Entertainment up in Everett, Washington. Check out Defy in Seattle. Eastern Washington, Spokane area. Go check out Relentless. They do their thing out there as well. I still need to make a trip out there myself so I can go support, see the product firsthand for myself. Am I leaving anything out? I don't think so. I'm at 30 minutes. I don't have much more to say. I try to keep these things short. Attention spans are short. If I decide to get back into training, I'll let you guys know. But for now, taking a break, focusing in on, what's going on in the home and with me personally. Like I said, job transition, going into a new career right now. forecasting for the next 20 years, you know? This is real life. So that's what it is. That's what it was. I'm here. I'm good. Good health. Nothing crazy going on. Again, thank you for the concern from some of you guys on X when I announced that I'd be getting back in the swing of things, getting back in the flow. I appreciate that. You know, you don't really think anybody's paying that much attention. You know, I'm a small fry. I'm just some random dude with a made up belt on his intro screen talking about wrestling, and everybody else has an opinion too. And you just don't think anybody's paying attention like that. So that was pretty dope. On that note, I'm going to wrap it up. Just say if professional wrestling is what you want to do, go after it, pursue it, make sure it's what you want to do. And if it's what you want to do and you're of sound mind and body, know what you signed up for and give it your all. If you're not prepared to give it your all, if it's not something if it doesn't pull at you every day, if you're not constantly wanting to know everything about the business, even on top of the wrestling, then maybe it's not exactly what you want to do. See, my passion is music. Mixing it, promoting it, making it, rapping it, writing it, and I pursue it. And I haven't stopped since little kid. Performing and mimicking Run DMC in the hallway with my buddy. Went on to do shows, went on to be on the radio, went on to mix at major raves, being supporting DJ to international and national talent. So if that's your energy for the wrestling business, give it your all, pay attention, listen to the elders. Listen to the elders. Yeah, you got some slick stuff, you pretty creative, and you got to make your way, you got to make your lane, you got to be creative for yourself, but listen to those who did it before you, because as smart as you think that you are, you're not really that smart until you take the wisdom and the knowledge from the elders. That is it. That is all. I'm Rosville. This is Alliance Late Night. And I'll see you guys next week, where I'll be reviewing some wrestling and telling you exactly what I think about what's going on in some of the promotions right now. You know, it's a good thing I'm on the internet and there's no censorship. I'm out.